All right, here we go. Let the fun begin. Now, listen, as musicians, we love to talk about music as much as we do to create it or playing our instruments. So you see all these crazy categories. They're all crazy, chaotic looking. That's just because I couldn't fit them. We're going to randomly pull them to the top of this tier list. So the framework of this is these are, in my mind, beginning guitar skill sets or things you need to progress through. But regardless of whether you're advanced, intermediate, beginner, those are broad categories. Drop your comments, your feedback. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? And I'm not going to pull them in order because I can't even see them, but I'm going to try and put them. Let's go over the tier categories. These are just kind of basic. So learn this right away. Learn in your first week. Learn in your first month. Learn once you're comfortable and save these for later. Now, some of these I thought of as I was making this because I'm like, oh, I got to add that in. So that's the fun of this. Okay. I'll bookmark chapters for each tier category. And if you like this type of comment, hit that like button. You guys know what to do if you're new here. If you've been around for a while, let's have some fun with this. Let me know if you like this. Okay, I'm just gonna randomly pull one. Okay, jam with humans. Where did I put that? I'm gonna look at my little list here. So jam with humans. Honestly, it's funny I pulled that first because in my mind, that's one of the main things you should shoot for. That's the whole reason I ever started playing a guitar. So I put that learn once you're comfortable. So we're gonna drop that there, okay? It doesn't mean you can't do it in your first month. I'm just saying get comfortable with the instrument, but always make playing with other people, other humans, one of your main goals. You'll learn more than anything in music by doing that because you have to put some compromise in there. Okay, let's keep this rolling. Let's see. Ooh, what is a chord progression? Okay, where did I put that? What is a chord progression? So I put that, learn that in your first month, okay? So what is a chord progression? So you need to start learning the language of music too. So you hear some people say, you guys have heard, oh, play a 1-4-5 chord progression, play a CFG chord progression. So that's the same thing. So there's a deep language built into this stuff too. So music makes you smarter than any subject, right? Because you're learning the language, the technical part. You've got like your bodies, you've got movement. It's got everything. So that's one of the things I love most. So what is a chord progression? Learn that in your first month. So just learn the concept. You can talk about actually learning some chord progressions. Okay, let's keep it rolling. I'm just gonna kind of grab randomly. Speed training. For all you shredders out there. I put that on save for later. Again, boys, girls, my people, you can't play fast unless you can play something slow, right? I know when we're younger, we're mesmerized by speed and all these high technical skills, but they're not what you need for the foundational parts of being the best musician you can be. So I'd say save speed training for later. Always start slow and work your way up, right? Start at a slow tempo and build up from there. Okay, you don't learn playing fast, okay? Build that skill set. You got to build that foundation. All right, let's pull another one. It's like kind of look away, pull. What did I pull? This is kind of fun. Oh, this one. Have fun. That could go in every single category, right? I'm going to put that right here. Learn this right away. Now, you have to figure out what makes guitar fun for you. For me personally, it's always constantly learning. I'm never, ever, ever satisfied with mediocrity for myself. Because again, you're only competing against yourself. So for me, having fun is playing music with others, like going to band practice, writing songs, creating these videos, interacting with you guys. That keeps it fun for me. So find what makes it fun for you. But again, you have to have fun forever, or you're not going to feel motivated to keep learning. Okay, let's reach into the grab bag of skill sets. Alternate picking. Where did I put that one? I put that. Man, I have a lot of categories here, so. All right, ADHD brain. Alternate picking. I put learn once you're comfortable, okay? Now, this is debatable. You could put learn right away. Again, a lot of these cross-pollinate, and they could go in multiple categories. But I'd say there's some other things you need to learn. So alternate picking, just think of like the low E string, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's what's actually going to lead to like a fluid motion in your playing is alternate picking. You want to learn that, you know, once you're comfortable with these other skill sets. Now you could do like learning your first week. I'm never going to tell you not to learn something right away in your first week. I'm just giving you a general like framework for this. And again, that's why we're doing this. You're going to add in your thoughts and what you think. Okay, let's pull another one. What's this one? Learn open strings, tuning. Okay, so that one I put, learn that right away. So if your guitar's not in tune, it's, I used to tell my students it was like driving a car with no steering wheel or no wheels. It's not going to happen. So learn your open strings from low E to high E. Learn E, A, D, G, B, E. If you want to learn that with what do they call that, a mnemonic device, I just learn E, A, D, G, B, E, okay? And then learn how to tune your instrument, whether you use like one of these little clip-on tuners, but definitely learn to tune with your ears too, okay? Your ears will always be your biggest asset. So let me know what you think of that. All right, what's this one? Oh, tapping and shredding. Well, I kind of already put it there by accident. Tapping and shredding. Why do we all want to go to tapping and shredding? Is that Metallica? Did Metallica do? I know for me, it was One by Metallica. I told you it was going to be a fun talk. What actually did you hear? Or of course, Eddie Van Halen, Eruption. But the solo in One, and I was just starting guitar. I probably had no clue what I was doing. Again, I should have saved that for later, but that was my version of having fun. So can we put that here? I'm going to keep that down here. Shredding, tapping, speed training. All right, let's keep this rolling. Clean fretting. Oh, that's definitely learn this right away. You gotta learn clean fretting right away. And I just realized I can't I can't bookmark these by tier list because we're doing them out of order. So this will be one giant video. So I'll do my best to put something in there though. All right, clean fretting, right? So just getting your fingers on the, like where to put them on the frets, okay? So this is gonna go in to all these other skill sets. So clean fretting, it's just like the fundamentals of Guitar 101, good solid guitar playing, right? The cleaner your tone, the better you're gonna sound. All right, let's pull another one. Build a system. All right, build a system. Where did I put that? I think I put that, learn once you're comfortable. Yeah. So build a system, meaning the sooner you can get a practice system in place, I think of the word efficiency. I use the word efficiency a lot in my life because I need it because my brain's all over. I have to build a system so I focus better. If I don't have it, I'm not going to progress as quickly as I can. So you have to build your own practice system. You know, one of my systems is actually having this YouTube channel. So it forces me to be accountable for you guys and to make sure I check my work. And I'm still learning too. Like, I mean, I've put in a lot of work and studied a lot and gone to school for it, but the learning never stops. So build your system, and it's fun when you build your system. So you'll see having fun just is in every category forever, regardless of what you think the tier categories are. All right, let's look away. First real strumming pattern. I think I put that one in learning your first week, okay? First real strumming pattern. You know, I remember when I was teaching lessons, like one-on-one private lessons, a lot of times I would teach Polly by Nirvana because it had some open chords. I know Kurt used a lot of he used open with power chords. I used all open chords, but it was a really good strumming pattern. There was a good change from one of the chords to the other. I can't remember which, but it really helped my students excel. So learn a strumming pattern. So pick a song that you know, create your own. Again, it's all your musicality. When I use the word musicality on the channel a lot, I'm just talking about your original vibes, your style, you. Nobody sounds like you except for you, regardless of how long you've played. We can all learn from each other too. You got to keep that. All right. Learn to sing and play. I put that for save for later, okay? Now, a lot of you, I've discovered, you guys are self-conscious about singing and playing, and I get it. We're all our own worst critics. So save this for later. Get really good at your instrument. But I'm going to tell you this, and if you guys sing and play, drop a comment here. When you sing, it forces you to play in a different way, because if you think about the word phrasing, that's where you put your strumming, your rhythmic patterns, or phrasing. I'm thinking of a vocalist where the singer puts his singing with the playing. So it's different if you're a lead singer and you have a band behind you, but when you play a guitar and you sing, there has to be in my mind, you're one instrument. So there's certain compromises that happen. It's happening for me right now in my band. There's certain, that we do the song, what's the song we're doing? Weezer, right? So one of the Weezer songs, I know for a fact Rivers doesn't play the part I'm trying to play and sing, so I had to figure out how to fit that together. But learning to sing and play, just do it by yourself in your room. I think it's amazing, and your voice will help you become a better guitar player, in my opinion. But for you guys that do sing and play, drop some comments to help people get over that fear of doing that, because so many people hold themselves back by not taking, and that's a risk. Like, you're taking a risk. So play in front of your significant other, a friend. Just do it in front of one person. Do it with yourself. Record yourself on your phone. We all have recorders, and see how that sounds. Okay, let's go over to another one. Basic strumming motion. Well, if we're gonna do first real strumming pattern here, then that's definitely gotta be a learn this right away, right? Is that where I put that? Yeah, I did. So basic strumming motion, I would just let people just do downstrokes. Just hit downstrokes. Think of quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just get used to what that feels like. If you are in the beginning of your guitar journey, you don't even understand what it feels like to play an instrument, right? So you're kind of trying to get you, so basic strumming patterns, and then you can build it up from there. Down, up, down, up. That's all rhythm is. Rhythm is just a combination of note duration, how long we hold notes, different types of note durations, and then where we put space. That's what rhythm is. So that's what you're doing in a strumming motion, right? All right, let's keep this thing rolling. What's this one? Okay, I say this a lot in the videos because James Brown said it, and it's so true. Now you're probably like, what does that mean? The guitar is a drum set. So I would say learning your first month, you need to understand that the guitar is a percussion instrument, because what are you doing? You are striking the strings in a percussive manner many times, sometimes more than not. Your hand is resting on the strings, you're not pushing down on the fretboard, and you're just having a percussive sound. That's where you start to become a really good seasoned guitar player, and it keeps it a lot of fun. So think of the guitar like a drum set, which is kind of why I'm learning to play drums now, because it really is helping me approach the guitar in a different mindset from a different angle. And I fully understand guys like Dave Grohl, who played drums in Nirvana, then played guitar with the Foo Fighters. Now, I know he played guitar but he basically has said he looks at the guitar like a drum set. He looks at the E and A strings like a kick drum and a snare drum or a hi-hat, and that's how he builds his pattern. So again, remember I said musicality, it all ties into that. Okay. Let's kind of jump these. Let's pull rhythm notation basics. Okay, what do I mean by that? First of all, where did I put that one? Rhythm notation. So basically, when you heard me mention the word, I think I put that rhythm notation basics. Sorry guys, I made a long list. Oh, I put that learn once you're comfortable. So I want you to have at least an awareness of things like, what's a whole note look like? What's a half note? What's a quarter note? What's an eighth note? What's a 16th note? Now I get it. When we learn guitar, the first thing someone puts in front of you is tablature, and that's like the easy man's, easy woman's notation. So a lot of times as guitar players, and even when I worked on sessions in studios, I wasn't given, nobody even knew how to notate stuff. I would get a chord, I'd get a chart, like a chord progression. Remember when I said, what is a chord progression? See how this is all tying together? And they'd say, hey, play me a C, A minor, F. They wouldn't notate out the rhythm. And then we'd get the rhythm through the actual playing of the song with the musicians, the jamming with humans. But just be aware of like, what is a whole note? Like, how long would you hold a whole note for in a bar of 4/4, meaning 4 beats? Each quarter note gets a beat. It means you'd hold a whole note for 4 beats, or a half note gets 2 beats, a quarter. So things like that. And just learn what they look like. Again, I think this is just like things you need to have in your musical catalog, or at least be aware of, even if you don't learn how to sight read, because nobody needs to learn how to sight read to be a great guitar player. In fact, most great musicians that we know and love couldn't sight read to save their lives, okay? So let's go to the next one. Let's just pull this one's poking out. Basic fingerstyle. Where did I put that one? I put that one... Basic fingerstyle. Learn it. I put this learn in your first month. Okay. I'm going to tell you what blows my mind. How many guitar players, and this could happen either way, they play with the pick for 15 years, or somebody plays fingerstyle for 15 years and they don't use a pick. And basically, you should learn both. My point being is learn how to use your fingers, put down your pick. And I do this all the time in the videos with the lessons I do. I say, hey, arpeggiate with your fingers. So you're going to hear someone like Lindsey Buckingham, or you're going to hear Mark Knopfler, and they play with their fingers. Or you guys, even wasn't Jeff Beck. Like, so these right here is almost like, and again, percussion instrument. You can do percussive stuff with your fingers on the instrument. So start learning your fingerstyle stuff in your very first month. I don't care if it's just you playing a chord and picking one note on the low E with your thumb. Kind of think of that as the bass note. Think like a bass player while you're playing the guitar. What would a bass player do? So you see how everything interconnects. I'm always saying connect the dots. So learn some basic fingerstyle, okay? So just put the pick down every now and then and try and use your fingers. Even if you use your fingers to strum like this and you're not doing any individual finger picking, just little things. Be creative. Again, your musicality, you want to up that every time you play your instrument. Okay. Learn the drums. I put save for later, but you remember I just told you that the guitar is a drum set. So of course, and I was talking about this very thing with my drummer in my band last night after we practiced. I was telling him how when I'm learning the drums right now, it's just forcing me to think different when I pick up the guitar, and that's kind of why I wanted to do it. And I'll be honest with you, if I could go back 35 years when I picked up a guitar, I probably would have learned drums first. Just because rhythm is everything. Without rhythm, you have nothing. So this could be learn drums. It could be learn another instrument. So I put drums because that's what I'm learning. Now I do play bass. I play piano well enough where I can record. I'm not a great pianist, but learn another instrument to vary your approach to your main instrument. Guitar is always going to be the main lane. That's my biggest love. That's what this channel is all about, but we're trying to diversify here. Okay. If you guys are guitar players that play drums too, or if you play another instrument, drop that in the comments. I would love to hear. What's this one hiding? Oh, single string picking. I think I put that. Yeah. You can tell some of the top tier, the Learn This Right ones, they're all in bold. I mean, they're all capitalized because I thought they would fit, and then I did way more categories. So they were in all caps. So single string picking. Just take... Okay, you know when you strum 6 strings or 3 strings, a beginner, we just get taught, we strum all the strings. Pick one string and just pick that, okay? That's when I said certain things you could say alternate picking could go up here with single string picking, because you could alternate pick on a single string, meaning you could take the low E and just do that little chromatic run. Let's think if we're on the first fret, we go first, second, third, fourth fret, we went down, up, down, up. I probably could have got a guitar for this, but this is a little much. We'll build this out. Again, this is the first time we're doing a video like this, so let me know in the comments what you think. So single string picking, okay? Because what that does is that starts to build the wiring in your brain where you're going to go from rhythm to in a little melodic part, and you want to flow rhythmically. Remember, rhythm is everything, okay? That's why you should learn the drums. All right, chord switching at a slow tempo. I definitely put that in learning your first week. I mean, learning your first week and learn this right away could technically be the same category, but I'm kind of just trying to separate them. So learn chord switching at a slow tempo. And I think I spelled switching wrong. So it was all jarbled up. But again, we don't do speed training right away because we got to learn how to do things at a slow tempo, right? You guys know, I always forget to, when you see a beginner play, I can think back. You remember think about this. If you're a beginner, tell me if you do this. Or if you're not a beginner, do you remember doing this? Remember when you're like playing a chord and you get ready to switch to the next chord, you always see them like look at their hand. And then it's almost like this painful thing. You're like, oh, I hope they land it. So chord switching in a slow tempo. Now, I always tell people too, take your rhythm hand out of it and just practice switching on the neck like this. Go around, switch your chords. What chord am I playing? C, D, E, so whatever. So practice chord switching at a slow tempo. Learn in your first week. Okay, let's keep this rolling. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4, keeping time. All right, look at that. I mean, of course, that's learn right away. That goes hand in hand with learning open strings and tuning, okay? You want to be in tune. and you want to be in time, all right? Unless you are some kind of a special artist that we didn't know about yet, the out of tune, out of tempo, out of time artist. All right, trust me, we've all heard them. A lot of them are on YouTube right now. So and so plays the worst version of this song ever. You don't want to be that artist, but if you do and that's how you have fun, go for it. All right, so you guys see in the videos, if you're new here and you've never seen, go watch some of my videos. I'm always beatboxing, and I do a ton of like stuff without the metronome just because I've been playing for years. You want to build an internal rhythm. You know, great music is all about a little push, a little pull. It's not all snap to a grid. We're not like pop music or whatever. No offense, pop music people. I love pop music too. But all right, let's keep it rolling. Simple riffs. That's just poking out at me. So simple riffs. Where are we going to put that one? Simple riffs is going to go and learn in your first week. Now, you might want to just learn, well, what is a riff? So think of a riff as, you know, certain bands play riffs. So it's like a little melodic run, okay? I don't think of it as a chordal thing. It's like one note after another, but it's a repetitive thing that becomes like a foundational part of a song or a part. Listen, at the end of the day, your biggest thing you need to focus on too, besides staying in time, rhythm, is always be creating parts. Whether you sit down and play for 30 seconds, think of every single thing you do as like a miniature song, right? So a riff, create a riff. Like you could take it from a scale, you could take it from a chord that you break down and arpeggiate it. Arpeggiate it means when you pick one note at a time, you could create a riff out of that. So learn simple riffs. And you guys know songs that we know and love. You know, I'll give you one of the bands that has some of the most killer guitar riffs ever. Of course, Black Sabbath, Rage Against the Machine, very riff-oriented, Soundgarden. I mean, so it depends on your definition of a riff, but that's what I think of. So just create simple riffs, little repetitive lines, and catalog those and think like a little songwriter. Okay. This one, simple improvisation. Did I say that right? Okay, I did a poll recently. Where did I put that one? Simple improv, meaning as you make things up as you go. Now, I had to put this under learn once you're comfortable, okay? Because really the only way to learn how to improv on your instrument is you have to have some kind of basic musical catalog. So improv, what does that even mean? You guys, so drop in the comments. Rate your like improv skills. Are you like, it's not happening for you? Are you kind of what think mid-level? Are you pretty comfortable and you're pretty good at improv? I say improv is probably one of my strongest things I do. So meaning you could step into any musical situation if you don't even know the song or have any idea what they're doing, and then you can figure out what you can add that's musical, right? So whether it be just starting in a scale, finding the key real quick that they're playing in, playing something rhythmic, because remember, you are a drummer on a drum set. You could just play something percussive that's rhythmic. It's going to sound killer until you find your way. It's little tricks like this that keep upping your game as a musician, all right? So simple improv. So I'll do some videos on that. I know you guys have been asking. I'll show you some ideas where to start, because I know a lot of you said that you are not doing well with that. So we'll keep that rolling. All right, basic chord vocabulary. That one I put learn in your first week. So basic chord vocabulary, and I should just pull this one at the same time. Simple open chords, C, A minor, G. Those are just some examples. Learn this right away. So simple open chords, you know the open chords, down on the first, second, third frets. C, G, A minor, D, E major, E minor. You want to learn all of those right away. Learn those shapes, and then you want to learn what they're called. Now, ultimately, you want to learn how those are created. That's the basic music theory. Now, I do a ton of theory in every single video, and I don't mean to jam that down your throat. And you don't have to know theory in order to be an amazing player, but you'll be more empowered as a player if you learn that stuff. So simple open chords, and this could tie right into what is a chord progression. Well, there's one right there. See, and if you knew the theory, that's a 1, 6, 5 chord progression. C, 1 chord, minor 6, and then the 5 chord G. And again, that's just the language of music. You see why this is deep. There's a lot of categories in here. Okay, So, and like, look, these all tie together. First strumming pattern ties into that. Now you're learning basic chord vocabulary. All right, let's go over to palm muting. Palm muting, that one I put learn in your first month. I think this is that's one of the most important skill sets you can learn too, because palm muting, you know, when you take this little fleshy part of your palm and you rest it on the bridge on the strings, and it dampens down the sound, all right? You guys have heard it in all the heavy bands when they're playing with a lot of distortion and they are palm muting, and it's giving that like so. But again, that's just a way to kind of control the dynamics and to clean up all those things that you don't want to ring out, okay? Now, really, the magical part is this palm muting, the one we're talking about in a more traditional sense right here in this category, that ends up happening with your left hand. They work as a team, and that's where you really start to skyrocket your guitar skills. Again, you guys, drop comments. I want to know what you think of this. Am I off? Like, let's have some dialogue here. This probably should be a live stream at some point, but we got to start somewhere. I just sweet picking. Learn this right away. No, just kidding. No. So, well, maybe. No, just kidding. Do you want to save that for later? All right. I'll tell you a quick story. My guitar teacher that I had from day one, this guy Brett Ellis, was like still to this day one of the best guitar players I've ever seen. He went to GIT in Hollywood, and I remember he was doing this sweep picking thing with like these seventh chord arpeggios, and I was like, my jaw was, I still don't comprehend how he did it. Now, I personally didn't put any bandwidth into sweep picking because it's not in the genres or styles that I really like. But if you're into that, you're gonna need, and you can do little sweep things. There's different types of sweep picking, but the kinds you're mesmerized by as a young player, a lot of the metal bands do it, or certain artists. You guys drop in. I'm not super versed. Who are some killer sweep pickers out there? Or what are some songs that you love that have sweep picking? A lot of times they're cool to do in little tiny things. You can like take like a minor triad on the GB high string and sweep pick that real quick. There was a little move in Metallica's one, I told you, the finger tapping and sweep picking that he did in that song. That was the one I remember the most. So just from like when I was learning guitar, there was a lot of Metallica riffs, simple riffs. All right, let's keep that rolling. Pentatonic scale first position. Now I know a lot of people don't even understand the positions, like why is it called first position? Why is it called second position? So I'll tell you in just a second, but I put that one, where did I put that one? I put that in learning your first month. Now I'm going to tell you, this is a first position pentatonic. You don't even have to have a guitar. You're going to know by me just telling you. Think of an A minor pentatonic from the low E to high E. If we go to the 5th fret and we do our fingers, if these are 1, 2, 3, 4, we go 1, 4. We're going from the low E to the high E. Okay, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. That is a first position A minor pentatonic. First position, because if you start on the root A, or whatever the key you're in, that is the first position. So a second position A minor pentatonic scale would start on the second note in the pentatonic scale, which would be C. Again, this is why you want to learn all this stuff, because then you just know it. And I'm nowhere near I want to be, but I think, you build a good base foundation that'll serve you in most anywhere. This is what you want to do. So let me know what you guys think of that. I'm thinking learn in your first month. You could put learn in your first week, okay? But it just depends on, what you're doing. And it's fun, You learn how to play little lead parts. You start learning that basic framework for that. All right. This video is getting long, but hey, that's what music is all about, talking music. Okay, what is an interval? This is one I kind of threw in at the last minute. I put this, I want you to learn that in your first week. Even if you don't learn how to play an interval, I want you to understand, I think you should understand what that term even means. So obviously, interval is the distance between two things. In this case, we're talking about the distance between two notes, okay? So if you think about it without even knowing it, and I think back to when I played, I love octaves. That's from the root to the same note an octave higher. So that's actually an interval. But there's other beautiful intervals like major thirds, minor thirds, fourths, fifths. So it's the distance between two notes. So there's absolutely no reason you couldn't be here in this room with me, and you could play the first week or the first day, and I could show you a major third interval. I could show you a G to a B from low E. I'd show it to you from low E to, let's see, the G string. I'd do a G to B. and you would play it and you go, oh, that's beautiful sounding, because it's a stripped down, simple thing. 2 notes, okay? So I'd say learn at least conceptually what it is and maybe learn how to start putting those into your playing right away. That's me. I like to shoot high, all right? Let's see here. What is a scale? Well, that one goes right in with learning your first month. Now, I mean, we could put this learning your first week, because listen, the major scale is the blueprint for everything that we do in music. Everything's built out of there. I could lay out a C major scale, and I could show you how to build every single chord in that diatonic scale, meaning all the chords that belong to that C major scale are built from that scale. And it's really easy, but you know, you're gonna wanna learn the major scale positions. If you're playing a pentatonic scale, you're playing a scale, okay? Scale is just a certain grouping of notes that belong together in a certain format, okay? So you guys know major pentatonic scales, minor pentatonic scales, major scales. There's all kinds of different scales, and this is how it's just, think of it as like being a cook, spicing things up. So I could show that to you your first week, learning your first month. But again, like I said, a lot of these go across. When did you actually learn your first scale? Drop that in the comments if you remember. Okay, let's go down here. Expanded chords, like sevenths, sus chords. I put that. Now, obviously, you got to have a basic understanding of chords. I put that learn once you're comfortable, because trust me, you're going to hear someone play a 7 chord, and even if you don't know what it is yet, it's going to perk up your ear because it's going to have a little bit of a different flavor. So, or a sus chord, you know. So we're not going to go deep on the theory of this, but ninths, 11ths, there's, you know, there's add nines, there's nines, so learning the differences between them. But again, learn once you're comfortable, because you're gonna have to have all a kind of a basic understanding of how to connect the dots in these other tier levels here before you get to that. I'm not saying I could show you a 7th chord and then you could start using it right away, or a sus chord, sus 2 chords, sus 4 chords. This is where, like, you know, if you're like a jazz musician, this is like the world you live in, like all these extensions and expanded chords. Okay. So tell me, you guys use a lot of these chords in your playing, or are you kind of more basic? And it doesn't matter, it all works. Okay, all pentatonic positions. I think I put that save for later. You could consider save for later and once you're comfortable, almost like the same tier. But again, learn that first position, build off of there, and then where you start to really grow is when you start flowing between the different positions. Drop in the comments, have you heard that term, oh, I'm stuck in the pentatonic box? Or that's when, like, you just, let's say you learn just this first position and then you're stuck there for 4 years and you're not progressing. But again, you got to put in the reps. Come to this channel, I'll show you the light. Go to any channel, just keep putting in I prefer you come to this channel, okay? I'm just gonna say that, but just put in the work, go to who you like watching, hopefully it's this channel, and we'll keep helping you, but put in the reps, okay? So all pentatonic positions, learn for later. Learn major and minor pentatonic positions too, okay? So if you don't know the difference, keep coming back here, I'll show you all that too. All right, let's see, I thought looper pedal was a good one. Now, a looper pedal, you could just record a chord progression in your phone for like a minute straight and play over it, and we use those to play music over. I put that learn once you're comfortable. So looper pedal's great. Like I have one down on the floor where I can play a chord progression, I can record it, and then it keeps playing. It keeps, just like the name sounds, it loops. That's an amazing tool. That's probably one of the best tools you can get if you play by yourself. Like if you don't have me or somebody in the room to play a rhythm guitar so you can like play a pentatonic scale over it or whatever, a looper pedal is a great thing. Also, they're kind of tricky to learn how to use because your timing, you hit the switch to turn it on to start the loop, and then when you're playing, you got to hit it in time or your loop is not a perfect loop. So it teaches you really good rhythmic skills too. A lot of times too, you know what I like to do? I like to record a rhythmic thing. Again, tying back to what I said, this is your guitar's a drum set. I'll play a rhythmic thing where I'm not playing any notes. So I create like almost like a rhythmic backing track loop, and then I jam over that. That's a lot of fun. All right, we're almost done here. We've got, what do we got left? Okay, 1, 3, 5 triad. You guys, I have to put this in here, and I'm gonna put it learning your first week, okay? I wish my teachers would have shown me this. They did not. I wasn't even aware I was using triads. Now someone told me I should have changed this channel name to triads, triads, because to me, I think they're one of the single most important things in music. Rhythm's just there always, okay? So I'm not gonna say that rhythm is king always, but everything else, like a triad is a stripped down version of a chord. So just to kind of paint a picture in your head, you don't even need a guitar. If you were to play an open G chord, right? You're strumming all 6 strings. Well, they have those 6 strings. If you look at them, there's G's, B's, and D's in there. Okay, there's some of them have one note, some of them, but a triad is just 1 G, 1 B, and 1 D, or the first, third, and fifth note out of a major scale. So it's a stripped down, beautiful version of a chord, right? And it's used in every kind of music. All your heroes on guitar, all your favorite songs use these. And the sooner you can learn to identify them, the sooner you will get better at playing them, all right, and using them. And I think of things like that I use every single time I pick up a guitar, every single time, triads. So I would show you this if you were in the room with me. As soon as if I showed you this simple chord progression, C, A minor, G, you can bet 150% that I would show you the 1, 3, 5 triad for each of those chords. I'd show you how to play a C triad, an A minor triad, a G major. Now the 1, 3, 5, if you don't know what that means, there's also a 5/13s, a second inversion, and a 351, a third inversion triad. First inversion, sorry. That's a first inversion and second inversion triad. There's a lot of numbers flying here. And this is how you really start to grow and progress faster than everyone that doesn't learn this, okay? But it's never too late. I have a whole playlist where I did every single major and minor triad shape with beautiful charts. You should check that. I'll link that in the description so it doesn't overlay the end of this video, but learn that right away. And I'm telling you, you will progress faster than just about everybody. Okay, I had a few more hammer-on, pull-offs, bends, and slides. I think I put that learn in your first month, because to me, that's what makes it fun. These are all the little spices of playing. Hammering on a note, pulling off a note, bending a note, sliding into notes. These are like all your colors, right? So think of the kid, when you were a kid, those little box of crayons, remember? And then you saw that huge one. That's what all these are. These are all your little like moves that turn you into you. And these are all the little like tricks of the trade that you need to throw into your playing at some point to get better. And there's no reason you can't learn a basic hammer-on your first day, or a bend. It's all training your ears and you identifying, I remember I think one of the guys from Metallica saying he heard someone bending a string and he had no idea what it was, and he ran home and he grabbed his guitar and he was doing all the stuff and he finally went, and he's like, oh my gosh, that's what that was. So that's kind of the magic of music. I think when we start doing things on our instrument and we discover that's what our heroes were doing too, okay? All right, let's wrap this up. 2 more, all right, and we'll get you out of here. So vibrato. Vibrato, whether you're bending a string real slow or fast, it's just a little tiny bend, okay? So you've heard the effect vibrato. So that I put, learn once you're comfortable. I think vibrato is something I can hear right away. You guys that are more advanced or high intermediates, let me know. I can tell how long somebody's played by how well their vibrato is. Like there's just a certain thing. It's just the way they're doing their vibrato, or if they're mixing it up between slower vibrato, faster vibrato where they're keeping it vibrato but almost turning it into a bend where it's like starting to fall off the rails or transition into a different thing. So look up vibrato. It's actually a guitar effect in a pedal. I think Boss makes one of the best vibrato pedals. And let's wrap this up. So this one is definitely save these for later. Advanced theory. I just put the word modes in parentheses because we could go down the rabbit hole. But you guys, people get more confused by modes, I think, than anything in music. And what they don't realize is if we took a major scale, every single note in a major scale, and we just started from a different point and played that scale in like a loop, that is a mode. It's just a different flavor. It's a different starting point. I like to call them moods because it's like a different mood. It's a different feeling. And that's where all this stuff combined is going to make you an amazing player. All right. So I will try and screenshot this and drop it in my Dropbox so you can grab it. Let me know what you guys think. All right, so did you like this kind of video? I thought this was a lot of fun. I need to talk more music with you guys. So do you guys want to do some live streams like this? I'm trying to bring in new camera angles, new ideas, new content. Just like playing guitar when you're trying to grow and build a YouTube channel, you're trying new things, and I think this is a lot of fun. I love interacting with you guys more than anything, so definitely drop me a comment. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What did I forget? I mean, there's a million other things we could have put in here, but what are some of your different approaches to some of these categories? What are you struggling with? What are you working on? What from this do you want me to make videos for you in? Because I'm never stopping. All right. Drop jellyfish or your favorite sea creature in the comments. Definitely tell us where you're watching from. And I had a lot of fun learning this. I was pulling my hair out learning how to do this, but I think I did it. All right, you guys know what buttons to hit. I will see you in the next video. Never stop, because only you can stop you, and you're not stopping. You're going to keep learning this stuff. Peace.